Ladies and gentlemen, today is not just about facts, it's about asterisk awakening asterisk. This is a story of two nations born from the same fire, but walking two very different roads. One is climbing with faith in its people, the other is sinking under the weight of its own silence. This is not a speech of pride or blame. It's a mirror, a moment, a message about what makes a nation rise, and what makes it fall. Open your minds, open your spirit, because what you hear today isn't just about India or Pakistan, it's about destiny, decision, and the power to change. India and Pakistan, two neighboring countries that began their journeys as independent nations in 1947, have taken vastly different paths when it comes to economic development. India has emerged as one of the fastest growing major economies in the world. Fueled by liberal economic reforms since the early 1990s, India has seen a consistent rise in GDP, foreign direct investment, and industrial growth. Sectors like information technology, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and services have become global powerhouses. Major multinational corporations are investing in India, viewing it as a stable and scalable market. The digital revolution has further accelerated economic activity, with platforms like UPI revolutionizing payments and Aadhaar streamlining welfare delivery. On the other hand, Pakistan's economy has struggled to maintain consistency. It faces high inflation, a depreciating currency, mounting debt, and frequent balance of payments crises. Over-reliance on foreign aid and IMF bailouts has created a cycle of dependency. Structural problems such as a narrow tax base, poor governance, and energy shortages have hindered industrial growth and investor confidence. Additionally, political instability and security concerns have discouraged both domestic and international investors. Key industries in Pakistan, such as textiles and agriculture, have failed to modernize or compete globally, leading to declining exports. India's growing middle-class, infrastructure expansion, and improved ease of doing business have all contributed to its positive economic trajectory. In contrast, Pakistan's economy continues to be bogged down by policy uncertainty, corruption, and inadequate economic planning. The difference is stark. One economy is creating opportunities and expanding its global footprint, while the other is struggling to meet basic financial obligations. These contrasting paths underscore the critical role that long-term planning, stable governance, and technological integration play in shaping a nation's economic destiny. Political stability is a cornerstone of national progress, and in this regard, India and Pakistan present a sharp contrast. India, despite its size, diversity, and internal challenges, has maintained a relatively stable democratic system. Regular elections, peaceful transfers of power, and a functioning federal structure have contributed to a political environment where governance can continue without major disruptions. Political parties in India, though often polarized, operate within a democratic framework that has withstood the test of time. Institutions like the Election Commission, the Supreme Court, and an active civil society help uphold accountability and transparency. Pakistan, by contrast, has experienced chronic political instability since its inception. Civilian governments have frequently been interrupted by military coups, with the army playing a dominant role in political affairs. This constant power struggle between elected leaders and the military establishment has weakened democratic norms and eroded public trust. Leaders are often removed through controversial court rulings, military pressure, or street protests, rather than through democratic processes. As a result, political parties in Pakistan have struggled to implement long-term policies, with each government focused more on survival than reform. India's political stability has allowed it to pursue long-term development programs, implement structural reforms, and engage consistently in foreign diplomacy. In contrast, Pakistan's frequent government changes and civil-military tensions have led to inconsistent policies, poor governance, and missed opportunities on both the domestic and international fronts. The lack of continuity in leadership also discourages foreign investment and undermines the state's ability to address critical issues such as education, healthcare, and security. While India's political machinery is far from perfect, Its ability to provide consistent governance stands in stark contrast to the unpredictable and often turbulent political landscape of Pakistan. Technology and infrastructure are the engines of modern development, and the divide between India and Pakistan in these areas is growing wider each year. India has positioned itself as a global leader in technology, with a thriving information technology sector that exports software and services across the world. Indian tech giants and startups alike are transforming industries, from fintech and edtech to e-commerce and artificial intelligence. Cities like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, and Pune have become global tech hubs, attracting investments and talent from around the world. Government initiatives such as Digital India, Startup India, and Smart Cities Mission have further accelerated technological integration into everyday life. Digital infrastructure in India has also expanded rapidly. The introduction of Aadhaar, a biometric identification system, has enabled millions to access government services and financial systems. UPI, a real-time payment interface, has revolutionized digital transactions, making India one of the largest digital payments markets globally. Public and private investment in fiber optics, 5G rollout, and rural connectivity is closing the urban-rural digital divide. In contrast, Pakistan has struggled to build a solid foundation in technology and infrastructure. Internet penetration remains low in many areas, and digital adoption is slow due to lack of investment, poor education, and limited government support. Infrastructure projects often face delays, corruption, and mismanagement. Electricity shortages, outdated transport systems, and limited access to clean water continue to impact economic productivity and quality of life. Technological innovation is stifled by brain drain, limited funding for research, and political instability. While India is preparing for a future driven by artificial intelligence and space technology, Pakistan is grappling with basic infrastructure needs and lacks a comprehensive digital roadmap. This growing gap reflects not just differences in current capabilities, but also in long-term planning, vision, and governance. A nation's influence in the world is not determined solely by its military or economy. It is also shaped by its global image and soft power. India and Pakistan, despite their shared history, have cultivated very different reputations on the world stage. India has steadily built a strong global presence through diplomacy, culture, innovation, and strategic alliances. Its participation in international forums like the United Nations, G20, BRICS, and the Quad has increased its diplomatic weight. Hosting the G20 summit and leading global health and climate discussions have positioned India as a responsible global player. Additionally, India's contributions to global peacekeeping missions, space exploration with ISRO's successful Moon and Mars missions, and its role in providing vaccines during the COVID-19 pandemic have enhanced its credibility and trust internationally. Cultural exports such as Bollywood, yoga, cuisine, and literature have further amplified India's soft power. The Indian diaspora, widely respected for its contributions in technology, academia, business, and medicine, has played a key role in shaping a positive image abroad. Indian origin leaders in global politics and major multinational corporations add to this perception of India as a rising, capable, and collaborative power. In contrast, Pakistan's global image has been marred by repeated associations with terrorism, political instability, and economic dependence. Despite efforts to improve its standing, Pakistan has faced diplomatic setbacks, including grey listing by the Financial Action Task Force and limited engagement in major global initiatives. Foreign policy is often reactive, centered around regional conflict rather than proactive global leadership. Tourism potential remains largely untapped due to security concerns, and its cultural outreach lacks the global reach of its neighbor. While India is increasingly seen as a bridge between the developed and developing world, Pakistan continues to struggle with an image crisis that limits its ability to attract investment, partnerships, and trust on the international stage. Investment is a reflection of a nation's stability, potential, and confidence in its future. In this context, India and Pakistan present two contrasting pictures, one attracting global capital at an unprecedented rate, and the other witnessing a troubling outflow of resources. India has emerged as a major destination for foreign direct investment across sectors such as technology, manufacturing, infrastructure, and green energy. Companies like Apple, Google, Amazon, and Tesla are not only investing in the Indian market, but also setting up manufacturing and innovation hubs within the country. The government's initiatives like Make in India, Digital India, and production linked incentive PLI schemes have created a favorable environment for both domestic and international investors. Reforms in taxation, improved ease of doing business, and a robust legal framework for investment have further solidified India's appeal as a stable and promising economy. India's massive consumer base, growing middle class, and digital connectivity also make it a highly attractive market for global corporations. Venture capital and private equity firms are actively funding Indian startups, which are now becoming unicorns at a rapid pace. The Indian stock market has consistently shown resilience and growth, further boosting investor confidence. Pakistan, in contrast, is struggling to retain both domestic and foreign investment. Political uncertainty, repeated changes in leadership, and inconsistent economic policies have eroded investor trust. Capital flight has become a recurring issue, with businesses relocating to more stable regions. Reliance on short-term financial bailouts rather than long-term reforms has discouraged sustainable investment. Furthermore, energy shortages, bureaucratic hurdles, and security issues continue to deter potential investors. While India is seen as a growth engine and a safe bet for long-term investment, Pakistan's financial system is perceived as volatile and unpredictable, pushing capital away rather than drawing it in. This disparity has widened the economic gap between the two nations. The youth population is one of the most powerful assets a nation can have, and how a country invests in its young people often determines its future. In this regard, India and Pakistan have taken significantly different paths, with one focusing on empowerment and innovation, and the other grappling with the loss of its brightest minds. India has strategically invested in education, skill development, and entrepreneurship to harness the potential of its massive youth population. Government programs such as Skill India, Startup India, and Atal Innovation Mission have encouraged young Indians to create, innovate, and lead. The country is witnessing a boom in youth-led startups across sectors including fintech, edtech, health tech, and clean energy. With access to a growing digital infrastructure and global mentorship, Indian youth are becoming contributors to the world economy, not just job seekers. Indian origin professionals are now CEO of global tech giants, showcasing the country's ability to nurture world-class talent. India's premier institutions like the Indian Institutes of Technology, IITs, and Indian Institutes of Management, IIMs, continue to attract top-tier students and produce globally competitive graduates. Many of these young minds are now choosing to stay in India or return after studying abroad, drawn by the expanding economic opportunities and supportive innovation ecosystem. Pakistan, on the other hand, is experiencing a troubling trend of brain drain. Many educated and skilled young Pakistanis are leaving the country in search of better opportunities, political stability, and personal security. Limited career prospects, outdated education systems, and lack of funding for research and innovation contribute to this exodus. Young entrepreneurs often face bureaucratic red tape and inadequate access to capital, making it difficult to start or sustain businesses. While India is creating a generation of empowered youth driving its progress, Pakistan is struggling to retain and nurture its own talent. The balance between military influence and civilian governance plays a crucial role in shaping a country's trajectory. In India and Pakistan, this balance has developed in fundamentally different ways, leading to contrasting national outcomes. India, since its independence, has maintained a clear separation between the military and civilian government. The armed forces are professional, disciplined, and largely apolitical, focused on defense rather than governance. Civilian leadership sets national policy, directs foreign affairs, and drives economic development. This has allowed democratic institutions to mature and function with legitimacy, even amid political challenges. As a result, India's development is guided primarily by public policy, citizen participation, and democratic accountability. The focus remains on education, infrastructure, industry, and innovation sectors that directly impact the lives of ordinary people. In Pakistan, the military has played a dominant role in governance, often overshadowing civilian institutions. Since 1947, Pakistan has experienced multiple military coups and long periods of military rule. Even during civilian governments, the military exerts significant influence over foreign policy, national security, and internal affairs. This imbalance has stifled democratic growth, weakened civilian institutions, and diverted national focus from public welfare to military priorities. While India spends significantly on defense, it also heavily invests in human capital, social services, and infrastructure development. In contrast, Pakistan's military-first approach has often come at the expense of education, healthcare, and economic reform. The military's involvement in commercial enterprises and policymaking has created a parallel power structure that hinders transparency and civilian-led development. This difference reflects a deeper philosophical divide. India is attempting to build a future shaped by its people through democracy, innovation, and inclusive growth. Pakistan continues to rely on military dominance, which undermines long-term civilian empowerment and restricts the country's ability to fully harness its national potential. India and Pakistan began their journey together, but today they stand worlds apart. India rises on the pillars of democracy, innovation, stability, and people-driven progress, while Pakistan struggles under the weight of instability, economic crisis, and institutional imbalance. The contrast is not just about statistics, it's about choices, vision, and leadership. As one nation builds its future with purpose, the other must decide whether to repeat the past or redefine its path. Thank you for listening with an open mind. May you carry forward knowledge, courage, and clarity. Good luck in all your endeavors, and remember, truth leads progress.